Broadcasting live from the multiverse, this is Tap Tap Concede.
Woo! Spring break!
Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede, your casual magic podcast. I'm Graham.
I'm James.
I'm Kathleen.
I'm Cameron.
And we're here to talk about magic. We're going to do this as a mailbag episode this week. Last week we talked a little bit about early impressions of M15 because I'd played the pre-release. I mean, actually, now that James and Cameron are here, maybe they could briefly talk about their pre-releases. But none of us have had a chance to draft it yet.
We'll remedy that.
Because, well, actually, you've drafted it once.
Yeah, or twice now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, hell, maybe we will talk about it a little bit.
Let's talk about drafting.
But the rest of us haven't had a chance to, and it's not about a Magic Online yet. So, in fact, we're going to be recording our next draft later today.
Yeah.
Our first draft later today.
JBT or this?
No, this is our first M15 draft later today.
What?
Yeah. But we also asked you for some questions on Twitter, so we'll do some mailbag.
Yep.
But
first, we're going to crack a pack. Now, instead of rolling the big die like we usually do for our stack of boosters, we got these two here from Briars the Fox.
Why don't you read the note?
Who's one of the viewers of our chat room. It says, Dear Dr. Zlur, if this was a normal idea, this would go to a stack, which I assume is the stack of things, but there's something special for these two packs. If possible, start with the older one, then move to the newer one. Enjoy. Signed, Briars the Fox. And so what he sent us is a pack of Homelands, of course, and a pack of M15.
Okay.
So very old and very, very new. And
I feel like they've been messed with.
I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
All right.
I already don't believe
I'm
that's
pulling for
Homeland.
Uncle Istvan here.
I'm just assuming for it's just bumping the nights.
Let's find out. What's in the pack of
Oh,
Homelands?
look at that. Wow. I am a genius. It's bumping the
pack
nights.
of-
Wait.
The pack of Homelands has a bump in the night, 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 a bump in the night,
But
a
wait.
bump in the night, and a foil bump in the night.
Dear
Wow, they
God.
didn't even have foil in Homelands. How does
I
that
know.
work?
That's impressive.
amazing.
All right. What's wrong with the M15 pack?
Oh no!
Actually, that looks factory sealed.
It looks better sealed than the Homelands pack did. Let's find out.
Although, wouldn't those cards be facing the other way?
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Oh, God damn it.
It's full of Homelands.
Wow, that's an impressive reseal.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Good
Yeah,
job.
because M15 packs just fall apart.
Well, Briars the Fox, I'm impressed.
All right, what do we get?
Well, we got a serrated arrows.
That card's good.
So, all right, I guess we'll do these 15, presumably 15. I don't even know how many there are here. We'll
Well,
do these
you know
Homelands
what?
cards that are Crack-a-Pack. Serrated Arrows. It's an artifact for 4 mana. When they enter the battlefield, you put 3 arrowhead counters on it.
Okay.
During your upkeep, bury serrated arrows if there are no arrowhead counters. I guess it's sacrifice is what it says now. Tap, remove an arrowhead counter from serrated arrows. Put a -1/-1 counter on target creature.
I've seen worse. It's not good.
It's not good, but it's fine, I guess. In terms of the old cards, it was
Yeah.
actually.
4 mana for a -3/-3 is...
I mean,
except you
very
can only
very
do it
slowly.
one at a time.
It takes 3 turns to do it.
But you can kill 3 goblins.
Yeah.
I feel that in the grand scheme of Homelands, this card is not as bad as it could have been.
Interestingly,
What a review, folks.
because of the current rules on counters, if a creature has a +1/+1 counter on it, and you put a -1/-1 counter on it, those counters actually just negate one another. So if you have a creature with Undying that's come back from the graveyard with a +1/+1 counter, you could put a -1 counter on it, take the +1 counter off, and then it could undie again. So that's
Combo.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling a legacy deck coming on here?
Real quick, because some people have been asking us, I guess we should explain Bump in the Night.
No, we don't need to explain it.
Some people were asking us on the stream. They were like, "Why? What's up with you guys in Bump in the Nights?" In 2012, we had this button that was like the Loading Ready Run convention button, which is like if you came to see us at a convention, we'd give you this button. And we thought it'd be fun if it was like in exchange for a Magic card. And so we were trying to figure out a card that would work well because we wanted it to be like a common, so it was accessible, and
But not like a good, expensive common.
Yeah.
Like we didn't want anybody to spend money on it.
Yeah, and we just thought that Bump in the Night was funny. Because of some interactions that we'd had during our like an office draft here, where I think Adam versus Paul.
Yeah.
Each had like several of them, or Adam had like 4 in his deck or something.
Adam drafted mono bump in the night.
Right. So, we just thought Bump in the Night was a funny card, and now we have thousands, and
literal thousands.
We were responsible for raising the price because they were a 10-cent common when we started, and then they got bought out so quickly from like Star City and Card Kingdom that they became 25-cent commons, and now I feel like we have the market cornered.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
Not really, but
Right.
Well, now we just sell them back.
yeah. Anaba Shaman is a
They
2
want like 10 of them, though.
is a 2/2 Minotaur for 3 in a red. And for a single red and tap, Anaba Shaman deals 1 damage to target creature or player.
Blah.
It's a very slow pinger.
Slow pinger, but
Yep.
I feel if I'm paying 4 for a 2/2, I don't want to have to put more mana in it.
It should be able to ping for
I
free.
just want to tap it to ping.
Yeah. Giant Albatross. Wow, this has a lot of words. Oh, I remember us making fun of this card before because it's a 1/1. And like Albatross is big enough on its own.
Mm-hmm.
A giant Albatross should be even bigger, and this guy's a 1/1. So it's a 1/1 for 1 and a blue. And has flying. For 1 and a blue, bury all creatures that damaged Giant Albatross this turn. The controller of any of those creatures may pay 2 life to prevent that creature from being buried. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter this loss of life. Use this ability only when Giant Albatross is put into the graveyard from play.
this card is so bad.
Okay, so hold on.
It's got super slow death touch that they can pay to not have happen.
So it's a 1/1, so it dies anyhow.
Yeah.
But if it kills something, or it just did...
No. If something kills it, if something deals damage to it, but it's only got 1 toughness, so only one thing can deal damage to it unless you do something else to it.
Okay.
It's bad.
And then, but they can pay what, 2?
2 life to make their creature not die.
So that seems like a fine trade.
Does it?
I mean, if you
No.
had like a big 4/4 flyer
What?
and they blocked it with the giant albatross,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, well, I'm going to pay 2 life so my 4/4 flyer doesn't die,
Okay.
and then you lose
I
your
thought you meant.
albatross.
Yeah, I thought you meant it was a fine trade to play this albatross and have them lose 2 life, and you spend an
No.
entire. Okay.
No.
You're talking about the other side of the trade.
Yeah.
Yes. If my opponent resolves giant albatross, I'll be happy about that.
Yeah.
If I resolve giant albatross, I will be sad
Something's
and
gone wrong.
something's gone very wrong. Torture. Creature enchantment for a single black mana. Choose target creature. I guess it's just the enchanted creature. You pay
Yeah, I
one in a black, put a -1/-1 counter on creature, torture enchants.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I've got to put something on a creature and then pay
That is
another 2
we actually
to
have
put a single -1/-1 counter
we
on.
have we have the other torture art. But this is amusing because the next card we have is torture with that art.
Don't worry about it, Paul.
Don't worry. It's the same card again.
Like, I guess from a flavor point of view, like, you don't kill the creature right away. You
This art, by the way, the one that's up on screen right now, if you're watching the video, is really funny. It's
The
like, get on the chair.
the
Get in
flavor
chair.
of this card is much better than the giant albatross.
Yeah, the flavor in this card is fine. Because,
like
the
the-
creature doesn't die immediately.
Speaking of which, the flavor text on this card, torture. It helps you pass the time until you die.
Nice. Unless you're weak, and then you die pretty quickly.
It's a quote from
Wait.
Grandmother Sengir.
Here's the, they scream right enough and plead too. But the Baron keeps no mercy in his vault of horrors,
Wow.
says Zeki Reef Pirate on the other torture.
Castle Sengir sounds horrible. Labyrinth Minotaur. It's a Minotaur in blue. Because mazes were a thing in blue. He's a 1/4 for 3 and a blue.
Oh, wow.
Creatures Labyrinth Minotaur is assigned to block do not untap during their controller's next untap step.
So he's like a frost Minotaur?
I think this guy has stacked this pack to just have terrible cards.
I think so. Roots.
Jesus.
Good show.
Good miniseries.
3 and a green, enchant creature. Tap target creature without flying. Wait, is this enchant creature with flying? Is that what it is?
It is enchant creature without flying.
Okay.
What?
When it enters, so the oracle text is enchant creature without flying. When Roots enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature, and enchanted creature does not untap during its untap phase.
Okay.
Because Earthbind was too strong.
Okay.
Okay.
So, because the wording on the original
Yeah,
card
sure.
is it's a creature enchantment that says tap target creature without flying.
Yeah, it doesn't
that
give
creature
the
doesn't
ability.
untap.
It doesn't give the ability to tap a creature without
Very
flying.
strange. All right. Abbey Matron, the art that I've less commonly seen, with the lady pointing downwards. 2 and a white for a 1/3, and for white and tap, it gets +0/+3 until end of turn.
What?
So you can tap it to make it a 1/6
That's a good blocker.
after you declare it as a blocker. I assume.
Yeah.
You go, I block with my 1/3, and they're like, okay, I.
Make it a 1/6 and block your 4/4 all day. Oh God, let's move on. Where's a
Yeah,
good
that's
card?
bad.
Mammoth Harness.
No, this is
Three.
not a good card.
3 and a green. Target creature loses flying. If any creature is assigned to block the creature Mammoth Harness enchants, or has the creature Mammoth Harness enchants assigned to block it, that creature gains first strike until end of turn.
I'm starting to realize why I didn't play this game when I was younger, because I probably didn't understand how these cards worked.
Kidding. Templating is... This is why I'm a big fan of the new base power toughness wording. It's just so much easier to understand.
Yeah.
What's up, Paul?
I was just thinking, I like that the mammoth harness causes the creature to lose flying.
Yeah.
I visualize that as they're actually just harnessing the creature to a mammoth.
To a mammoth. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's
And,
like a sad giant albatross on the back of that mammoth's tail.
It appears to be a rare, by the way.
Wow.
That's
What?
disappointing.
That's sweet.
And it has a 1 community rating.
No
Nice.
kidding.
I'm surprised it's that high. Hungry Mist.
Oh, I remember this card.
2 green for a creature is a 6/2. During your upkeep, pay green or bury Hungry Mist.
Right, because the 6/2 is just too good.
6/2 for 4 is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I'd rather have a 5/3.
Anaba Bodyguard. It's a 2/3 first strike Minotaur for 3 in a red.
The first pick. Slam it. Windmill slam.
Yeah.
Oh my
2/3
God.
first strike for 4. I'll take it.
Yes.
Willow Fairy.
Oh God.
It's a 1/2 flying for 1 and a green.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, a flyer and a green deck?
I was gonna say it's not something you can get anymore. But
No.
then Hornet Nest.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
Hornet Queen.
Strict upgrade over Scrib Sprites.
Dark Maze. 4 and a blue for a 4/5. And for activated ability for 0 mana, Dark Maze can attack this turn
But-
because it's a wall.
But
At the end of turn, remove Dark Maze from the game. Dark Maze cannot attack the turn it comes into play under your control. So it's still summoning sick, but you can pay nothing. You can choose to have it attack, but then you exile it at the end of that turn.
Sweet.
ugh.
Orcish Mine.
I'm so glad there's a full 15 homelands cards
Oh my
in here.
god, did you just look for all the cards with the most text? 1 red, enchant land. When Orcish Mine comes into play, put 3 ore counters on it. During your upkeep and whenever target land becomes tapped, remove an ore counter from Orcish Mine. When the last ore counter is removed from Orcish Mine, destroy the land Orcish Mine enchants, Orcish Mine deals 2 damage to that land's control.
Oh my god!
oh wow.
Like, I love how the flavor
I
for
actually got-
Homelands
Go ahead.
is that this plane just sucks.
I
and
got,
it's full of people who suck
I got
and are bad at their jobs.
I got bored halfway through listening to that and zoned out. I'm not even kidding. I have the attention span
So
of a 12-year-old.
if they tap it 3 times, then it goes away?
And it
Yeah.
shocks you.
Yeah. All right, interesting. Abbey Gargoyles.
Why would I ever play this?
Abbey Gargoyles is a 3/4 with flying and protection from red
All right.
for 2 white.
Oh God.
You know what, though? It seems like a bomb
Is
in
that
this
our only?
format.
Oh no, we had one other white card.
One more.
Honestly, this
It does
seems
seem
like...
kind of like a bomb in this format.
Yeah.
Because the red card is the best. And honestly, like, I could feel that this could go somewhere into, like, some kind of deck. Because it's got that protection from red.
All right. What's our last card?
It's terrible.
Of course it is.
Sengir Bats. It's a 1/2 for 1 black. It's got flying. Whenever a creature is put into the graveyard the same turn Sengir Bats damaged it, put a +1/+1 counter on Sengir Bats.
Oh, it's
Oh,
like
God.
bad Sengir Vampire.
How
Because Sengir Vampire
how is a
was too
1/2 living through a combat?
Well, it's fighting an albatross.
good.
Yeah.
You paid 2 life. Duh.
No, throw it away. No more homelands.
Okay, wait, hold on. So our first pick here.
Is the 2/3 first strike?
Yeah, my now if that's gone, I'm actually gonna go with this Labyrinth Minotaur.
I think I'd take the Abbey Gargoyle.
I mean, yeah, 4 or 5.
maybe the
3-4 flyer.
3-4 flyer.
It seems like a stone cold bomb.
Yeah.
Labyrinth Minotaur locks down the ground all day.
It's basically Sarah Angel.
Yeah, in this format it is.
Oh my god!
Can we answer questions now?
Yeah.
This is scary.
No more Homelands. Do we
Actually,
still have
real quick-
Homelands in our goddamn rotation?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Real quick though, Cam.
Yes.
Tell us about drafting.
Yeah, you've drafted the format twice. Just briefly, I mean, it's too early to get like a handle on how the format looks from draft, but just talk about your decks.
Oh, okay. Well, the second deck I drafted was with like a bunch of people who showed up late at night at YJ to draft and were kind of like, really solid drafters who were looking to play. So we all put together fairly strong decks. I was able to draft mono blue.
Ooh.
So I had like a Quickling and like 3 Frost Lynxes, and a bunch of like Amphin Path Mages.
Oh my god.
And I just bricked every game.
Aw.
It was terrible. It felt really strong, and I just couldn't.
Quickling with 3 Frostlink sounds awesome.
And then like Peel from Realities
Aw.
and the sorcery speed unsummon, and I thought I was just going to like.
I'm gonna
putting it
tempo you
together.
out, bro.
Yeah, I was putting it together, and I'm like, what can men do against such reckless signaling, right? Because I was just like, yeah, I had crusts for everything, like 2 or 3 encrust, but I just.
Or is it just not fast enough?
It wasn't big enough.
Okay.
Was basically what would happen is I would put in a Frost Lynx, like turn 3, tap something down, and then they would like the next turn bring out Siege Worm.
Oh.
Right, and it's just like, welp. And then I couldn't find the cards I'd need to put it down, and like life just sucked.
Duh.
But I felt it was a fun deck to play around with and die with. And I wound up going 2 for 1, or
Okay.
2 and 1, which was all right. But I thought it was a much stronger deck. Turns out blue really does need the Illusory Angels, because otherwise it just can't put through the
Wait,
damage.
so you bricked every game, but you still went 2 and 1.
Well, yeah.
That's not bad.
Well, I'm just complaining.
Oh, okay.
But like,
That's fine.
I think if I'd had one more Illusory Angel, like just one more something with power 4.
right.
Right.
Because I had an Illusory Angel and I had the Convoke Artifact Creature, the 4/4 guy.
What do you think
that guy
about?
seems good.
What do you think about having Glacier Crasher?
That guy was actually really good whenever my opponents were playing red.
Did you board into it, or did you?
Yeah, I
main deck
board into it.
Okay, sweet. He's a 4/4 and he.
Or he's
with
a 5/5.
trample? So, is it 5/5 with trample?
but he can only attack if there's a mountain on the board.
Yeah, interesting.
And he was really strong in those games. But like, yeah, a 4/4 body is enormous in this format. That is like, it's extremely relevant to have something that big, which makes the Titans even more bonkers.
Oh,
But-
the souls.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I've been finding a lot of what people assumed about the format at the beginning is turning out to be true. Every creature trades with every other creature. Anything with a big butt is suddenly much more powerful because it can live through.
Ooh, does that
Things
mean
like that.
does that mean Divine Favor not that bad in this format?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Probably not as good as when there was the angelic, the thing that got you angel if you gained
Yeah.
life that turn.
yeah.
But-
But I mean,
And so
Well-
yeah, I mean like that. The life gain deck is definitely a limited deck. I'm not sure how strong it is without like Archangel of Thune to anchor it on in pack 1.
I think if you have multiple Johnny's Pride mates,
Yeah.
you
But
can
they're an
probably
uncommon.
they're an uncommon. That's
But
the
like
problem.
if you're able to get 2 of them, I think that deck is a thing. It's what I actually tried to put together in my first draft, where I wound up going black-white, and it was basically black-white mono removal.
how'd that work out for you?
I think I went 2 and 1 there again. Like a fairly standard result. Or no, wait, I went 2 and 2 in that and won 1 pack.
All right, so I have a couple of questions then. How do you evaluate the speed of the format?
It feels slowish.
Slowish. So
but not M14 slow.
well,
No.
M14 was like
Glacial.
you could really like actually die from milling yourself. But
Do I cast
but-
opportunity?
Well, because there's a lot. I was just listening to the limited resources mythic rare set reviews, and there's a lot of really sweet cards at 7, and they're like, I don't know, but I mean, obviously they hadn't drafted it yet. So how do you feel? Like, do you feel like if you see a sweet 7 drop, you go for it because you're probably gonna get a chance to cast it? Or
Oh yeah, definitely.
okay, interesting.
Yeah, the set feels slow enough that those 7 drops are relevant.
Okay.
I've seen fights drag out with like souls of Theros, like
Oh.
just grinding people out over turns
Blah.
and turns without significant ramp to get them out onto the battlefield.
I have 114 life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it feels slow, but then again, I've only drafted it twice. Like Theros draft evolved significantly over its lifespan.
Yeah, but Theros draft started fairly fast, right?
Well, I think. Well, I mean, it's been out for a week,
All right.
right? Like Theros looked slow at the beginning, and then people were like, there's this mechanic called heroic,
Yeah. Yeah. If you can be in the blue-white,
like the blue-white skies deck.
Dauntless River Marshal
Yeah.
aggro, like there's a real white, fast aggressive deck in this format.
Yeah, and there's
but
like a
if you can get it.
I think there's a really strong green tokens mid-range strategy too that convokes into those 9 power and 1 card
Are there
beast
enough
tokens.
green token generators, or do you have to like splash white for that?
I think you're splashing white for it, but like the Selesnya deck,
Seems good.
yeah.
So another question. Obviously, you've only played this twice, and you haven't played each color. But what do you like? Sort of, what are your sort of initial impressions of the colors?
Well, white is like hella fun.
Okay.
I would actually right now be comfortable first picking a triplicate spirits.
Oh
in
yeah.
pack 1.
Oh yeah.
I would absolutely go for that, and then pick up the guy from Innistrad that untaps when creatures enter the battlefield.
Yes.
And like I did that play once, and my opponent was just like, "Oh, too powerful!" Right? And
Well, how were you abusing it? Did you have the?
I think
something on
I
it?
just used it to convoke twice in one turn.
Oh.
But or no, I convoked and then untapped and then fought, and it was beautiful.
You got to get that red enchantment that fights,
Yeah,
or the one that follow the hammer,
yeah.
and you put it on the Midnight Guard, and then you fight and play triplicate spirits, and in response to each trigger,
Yeah.
you fight.
Yeah.
It's like, fight, untap, fight, untap, fight, untap. I'm sorry, did you just take 8 this turn?
Yep. Oh, so good. So like the black-white life gain deck is one I really want to put together with the Johnny's Pridemate and that wall that accumulates triggers. Or accumulates counters and then blows them off to do damage.
The wall of limbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems terrible, but it's my kind of terrible.
But it's also,
it
if you
sounds like
said
fun.
it's slow enough, maybe that is a
Yeah.
viable strategy, right?
Like, I
Maybe.
mean, it's probably about on par with the black-white guys from Theros that would, like, tap and 4 mana to drain you for 1, right? Like, all those 1/4s
Yeah.
from
the Scholar of Athreos and that?
Yeah, Scholar of Athreos and the River Guide, and then there was that one, the Hired Torturer from Ravnica.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so white is super fun. Blue is the beatdown deck, right?
Yeah, blue feels like a
Like an
tempo-y
enabler?
deck. Yeah, like a mid-range tempo deck.
Okay. Do you feel that blue can do it alone, or should it team up with a different color to beef?
Unless you can get in like Illusory Angels or Glacial Crashers against red or Splash Red, it's really going to need something with high power in order to put through the damage it needs. Because like, sure, you can tap down a blocker with Frostlinks and then swing in with another Frostlinks for 2,
Yeah.
and then like Siege Worm just comes back.
And you're like,
Right.
oh, right.
Yeah, it's like I'm not winning this race. So you need something with power to push through. I mean, but that's like deck building 101.
Okay. But I mean, it's not a monocolored format.
Yeah. Like there are the cards to enable it. Like a Soul of Ravnica is going to do that job for you. A couple of Illusory Angels are going to do that job for you. A Glacial Crasher will do that.
You can
job.
open that mythic.
Yeah.
Right.
Or what about the blue, like, or the guy who gives all your blue creatures +1/+1?
Yeah, the Paragons I think are like
Paragons are sweet.
yeah, very very strong picks. If I had picked up another Paragon, I think I would have been much happier with that deck because I had 1.
Ooh.
And when he came down, it was good, but otherwise it was not great.
What you need is you need the blue clone somebody on your team guy and then clone that guy.
Yeah, actually, that guy's turning out to be not terrible. I played with him in the pre-release because I opened a Soul of Ravnica, and like getting a second one out there was
Seems all right.
It's another 6/6 flyer for 5? Yes, please. Thank you.
I'll take it. It's not a good clone effect, but sometimes not a good clone effect is still a clone.
Still a clone effect, yeah.
right? It's like bad mind control, still mind control.
All right.
All
So
right,
what
so
about...
I'm looking. No. I want to move on to these questions because
All right.
we
I
told
wanted
people
to-
we were going to
yes.
do a mailbag question.
All right. I wanted to ask about green.
No, we don't have time to go through every color.
Okay.
We'll know more about M15 as we get to actually like play more of it, and it's out on Magic Online today, actually. So we'll have more of that. I think we're going to do some stuff this weekend, so that should be fun. So we asked you on Twitter from the @LRRMTG Twitter account for some questions, and these are your questions. Kale asks, "How do you feel about the representation of squids in M15?"
I feel strongly.
I'm for it.
Yeah, for it.
Thank you, Mikey. Henry asks, "What's your favorite card in Standard?" Now, that is a question that I am ill-equipped to answer. Does anyone know anything about Standard?
Well,
I mean,
just what's your favorite card in the Standard format? He didn't say what's your favorite card in the Standard meta.
Yeah,
that's
that's actually
true.
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
alright,
what's your
that's
favorite card in what we have right now? I mean, that's Standard, right? So right now, the Standard format is as big as it gets.
Yeah.
Right. For the next couple months,
we've got United Standard.
we have everything. We have 2 full expansions and 2 core sets. So that's a lot of cards.
I want someone... This is not an answer to this question. I want someone in the next couple months while we still have Unified Standard to make the sliver deck work. We've got a bunch more slivers. Now we have the land. We've got Mutavaults. We've got the Hive Lord.
Yeah. It should happen.
Someone make it happen.
Yeah, like Manawef Sliver.
I mean, I've seen
gets in there,
like I've
right?
seen deck lists for sliver decks. I'm just curious if they
There's more
can
fixing
compete.
land than you will ever possibly get in Unified Standard as well,
Like
right?
when you say you want to see the sliver deck, do you want to see it sort of like be able to compete?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it is competitive, but I feel like it should be, and
Yeah.
I want to see if someone make it happen.
I think like actually Naya Slivers with the Hive Lord
Yeah,
is totally a thing that could work.
Yeah.
Right? Because that mana isn't even that hard with Manawef Sliver. You've got things like Mana Confluence. You have...
oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like
Land
you're
base
playing
is
green for
not
the
a problem.
Yeah, you're playing for the Muscle Slivers and the Giant Growth Sliver.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Maybe that guy's a one-of. And I've heard of people playing the Bard.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, just to play like the one of the sliver effects that you don't need multiples
I
of.
felt like such an idiot, by the way. I was like, who designed this card? Where have I heard of him before? Who? I've heard of this guy. Looked it up. Of course, it's the guy who did the Bard's Tale.
Oh. Wait, shouldn't it be Iolo then?
Well,
But yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, but that's brilliant. Actually, I didn't know that.
yeah. So I was like, oh, of course it is. Yeah, it's Yisan, the Wandering Bard. If you're looking for it, Paul, It's
Right.
with a Y. It's Y-I.
Yeah, I would
I
love
think.
to see the Slivers deck actually come together and compete.
Agreed.
So I don't know. I guess Sliver Hive
yeah,
Lord.
we're gonna
Why
go with
not?
high. Yeah. I like it.
The other deck I really want to see work before Standard rotates out and before Ravnica rotates out is everyone is going to see this coming, but I really want Goblin Electromancer to finally do something.
That would be good.
I would really like for there to be good instants and sorceries in red and blue. Give me a cantrip. Just give me a cantrip.
A question from Rikaru. What is a good spell balance for a commander deck? And how do you feel about a Hydra commander deck I am building?
Ooh.
All
Hydra
right.
Commander deck sounds good.
I'm excited about the
Yeah.
Hydra commander deck. That seems like it could be a lot of
That
fun.
could be cool.
What is the
It's like 60-40. 60% spells, 40% land.
yeah, it's like 36 mana sources ish.
Ish. You don't want... I mean, I
Well,
feel that's minimum.
I usually
plus your-
Google it.
Actually, like one thing I found decent is like 30 plus your commander's CMC or 30 plus your highest curve. Or your curve maximum.
Yeah, that's fair. So if you have your Nate drop, you go 38 sort of thing, or yeah, I
Or
could
if-
see that.
Yeah, alternately, if you're playing like Isamaru, you don't go 31, you go up to like whatever
Yeah,
your
like I
your
think
curve
like
is.
I have one commander deck, and I think my mana base sits at 36 mana sources.
I wouldn't want to go like lower than 36 to 40. I put together a low cost commander deck, and I thought I could go with like 32 land, and that was a very, very bad
If you're
choice.
playing a Hydra deck, that sounds like it's going to be a bunch of big beefy dudes who could require some significant investment. So maybe you want to go a little higher, but
This
Like,
MTG,
I
this
imagine-
MTG Salvation thread I'm reading says between 34 and 37
okay.
broadly, but it could go as high as 40 if
Yeah.
you need it.
Yeah, especially with a lot of X-cost Hydras, that might be difficult to gauge. But
Yeah.
I imagine with a Hydra deck, you're playing also a lot of mana acceleration.
I mean, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Beef asks, if you were given the opportunity to come up with a theme or a central mechanic for a new block, what would you want to see? God, I don't know about mechanic, but a theme? Oh, man. I don't know.
They've never really done like an underground thing.
No, they've talked about it. There was a great designer search entry from the second one.
Wait, wasn't that John's?
I was about to say, was it John's? I know
maybe I'm
the
saying
one that
this
John
because
was,
I've heard John talk about this.
It's the one that John was in, and I think
it
it
was
might have
John.
been John's idea.
Yeah,
This is John Laux, formerly of Limited Resources, and then of Wizards, and then now formerly of Wizards. But yeah, there was a suggestion. Pretty
that's
sure
right.
it was his.
It was
for an underground like setting, like where
Right,
everything was
right.
underground. And there was cool sort of ways to work around how, because you'd expect everything to be red, but there was like underground sort of like seas and forests,
Right,
and
and
stuff like
you
that.
could even do like your environment specific dual lands,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Underground blanks.
I think that'd be really neat.
I would really like to see something. I guess it's somewhat similar, something in this vein of like Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Dawn, Book of the Long Sun, where it's like taking place kind of in a ring world, but it's like this habitat. Where the sun never sets because it's like this thing at the far end. But something like a sci-fi fantasy setting.
Would that work for Magic if it went sci-fi?
Well, I mean, not explicitly. Like the setting is something that would only be possible in a high technology like environment, but like the actual things living in it are living in a fantasy world,
Ooh,
right?
that could be really interesting. I don't know if they'd go for that, but I think they could make it work.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
feel-
it would never even have to be made explicit.
Right.
I feel like that could be really good. It could open up a lot of fun stuff. I feel like Magic, obviously, like the more fantasy and magical it can get, the better it is for the more space it gives for the designers. But I feel like I really like the idea of like modern settings, but I feel that you could get a lot of Magic if you were to, and I hate just deploying this term, but more like a steampunk setting. So you did have some technology, but it was all very magical and stuff like that.
It's sort of like the Is It.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the Is It are not explicitly steampunk, but they're kind of
They're pretty
steampunk-y.
close, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially with the redesigns, right?
Yeah.
But like some, like a setting like, for example, like I'm sure everybody's played Dishonored, where there's a lot of magical shit going on in that world, but it's also kind of like gritty and more like modern and stuff like that. So I think that would be fun.
That could be neat.
I think that makes it more modern without taking away too much imagination space.
What's a top-down thematic design that they could still do? Obviously, you wouldn't want to follow it after Theros, but do you think that there's enough space in sort of like Roman stuff that they didn't do in Theros' more Greek thing?
You'd have
I
to.
don't know about
I
that.
think you'd have to
I-
make
Legionnaires.
I think the problem with a lot of Roman mythology is that it's so heavily
It just-
borrowing
Yeah.
from Greek mythology.
Yeah, I don't think they could make it different enough.
And at that point, like, the problem with a lot of top-down themes is like, let's do this people's mythology next, right? Like, and at some point you just kind of run out of them.
Have they done?
I feel like
Have they actually explicitly done like Norse, Scandinavian?
No, like that was going to be not Chandalar. What was the final boss in Duels of the Planeswalkers 2014 was you went to that guy's plane.
Oh right,
And it was all it had a very kind of like Swedish chef sounding
the guy that who was chasing you, or
or that
You were
hunting.
chasing.
Yeah,
you were chasing, right? Who was that? Ramaz?
something like
Yeah.
that.
I feel like they could do Norse, and I know they've already sort of tried to do like an African theme set, but I feel
Yeah.
there's enough different like mythologies in Africa for like that you could do something that's top down from. I'm not up enough on like the myriad of African like god pantheons and stuff to pick one off the top of my head, but I feel that they could do that. I don't think they've done a strictly like Egyptian or Mesopotamian theme set.
No. I mean some of that sort of showed up in like Mirage and Visions,
Yeah.
but that was much more Central Southern African than strictly speaking Egyptian. But there was some stuff in there. It was all sort of a hodgepodge.
Done like Northern Europe.
I would actually kind of like to see something along the lines of like a lot of the planes we visited are very well established with mature civilizations that have like long histories and mythologies. I would like to see a world is young block.
That'd be cool.
Like, you know, the dawning of the gods, right?
Ooh.
Like shortly after the creation of this plane by whatever creates planes.
Kaldheim.
Kaldheim, yes.
That's the plane. That's like the Skyrim plane.
Yeah.
It's
X-Time.
It was shown on the plane chase card Skybreen. Skybreen on the plane of Kaldheim. It is known for its fierce blizzards and tribes of barbarians that live there. All right, cool.
Okay, so that's Norse land.
Let's go to Kaldheim.
What about like Celtic mythology?
Yeah.
There's a lot of warrior gods and goddesses in Celtic mythology.
You could just have a guy who's a head.
Could we? That sounds sweet.
Cool.
All right, so all of that. So
Yeah.
get on that, wizards.
Yeah. The Red Book of Kells.
Lord Hosk asks, "Do you regret the whole bump in the night thing?" Lord Hosk, I
every
believe,
day.
is personally responsible for like
all-
over 1,000.
I would say probably over half our collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
No regrets. That's awesome.
YOLO.
Ryan asks, "Do you think Court of Calling will have an impact on Standard? Are you hoping it does or not?"
I mean,
Probably.
I would assume it would have some sort of impact on it. Unfortunately,
It's a very powerful
It's
effect.
Court of Calling.
Yeah, it's Court of Calling is a very good card.
Like
We're-
court isn't a note.
We are probably the wrong people to be asking, though.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of standard brewing.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Is there enough tokens in
like-
the metagame to support it now?
if it's relevant in modern, is it modern? It's relevant in.
I think so.
It gets played. Yeah, pretty sure it gets played in modern
Like,
decks. It's a very powerful effect. It's for clarity. It's X green. You
Convoke.
with Convoke,
Which is insane.
and you at instant speed you get to search for a creature with converted mana cost X, and you put it into play.
Yeah.
It's very strong. It was strong before, and I'm
Wasn't-
sure someone will make it work.
When was the first? When did this show up the first time?
Ravnica.
Original Ravnica.
It's a Selesnya card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, play of the pre-release for me was Court of Calling for a Satyr Wayfinder. That felt good. I won that. I won because of it too. It was super sweet.
Like, I don't know. There's probably an effect you could do where it's like, you know, turn 1, Mana Dork, turn 2, raise the alarm, or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there could be kind of a fun.
chord for a 3-drop, I guess. It's probably fine.
Yeah, or you could have just played that 3-drop normally.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You get
Yeah,
to-
like that's probably not the play. What do you?
No.
How do you ramp into this? I guess you're doing like the.
I don't think it's
the
that
green
great.
High tide.
I don't think it's amazing in limited. It's a very
Yeah.
powerful effect, but I don't actually think it's that good in limited because
Like-
what are you looking for?
The real strength of this card is probably going to be similar to Breeding Pod, wherein like it's not Breeding Pod. It's not the same.
Or
effect.
Birthing Pod.
Birthing Pod. But what that deck was really good at was playing one-ofs for very specific situations and being able to hunt for the thing, being able to hunt for the answer it needed right now.
Yeah.
And this you can do at instant.
And Core
speed.
does the same thing in
Right.
the modern decks it's played in.
Right. So if you were able to hunt for like something that would blow up artifacts when it came into play, right? Only this you don't need to sacrifice something for, or you don't get to sacrifice something for, depending on what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It's a kind of deck that I like. Something that plays a lot of one-of sounds really sweet. Especially with guys like the that green guy that blows up an artifact or enchantment when it comes into play.
Reclamation Sage.
Right.
Yeah. Just boop. Stalker Soldiers asks, if you could do a team sealed of any set or block, which would you pick?
team sealed of any set or block.
I have no opinion on this.
I don't know. Innistrad, I guess.
Yeah, I mean
That was
that's
fun. That was a fun set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put together someone with the werewolves deck, someone with the
Oh yeah,
with the,
spirits and the zombies and that'd be swick.
Yeah.
sweet and sick. Totally
Then you could
swick.
But
together, like
but
the-
just mono Innistrad, right?
yeah,
Or do
just
we
like
want
12
Dark
packs of
Ascension in there?
Innistrad.
Yeah, no,
You could
just
put
12
together
packs of
the,
Innistrad.
the flashback deck with Burning Vengeance. You could put together the werewolves deck, and then maybe you could put together the spider spawning deck.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
How has this is Giovanni asks, how has Limited suffered with the loss of Charging Badger? It
More
will-
than you'll ever know.
Consequences will never be the same.
Yeah.
Kiko asks, will we ever see a live stream of you guys playing Paper Commander?
see that happening at some point. Yeah, I mean,
pun intended. It could be in the cards.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. I don't know. We have no plans right now, but that's something that we could do.
I mean, the one big sort of difficulty we had when we streamed Conspiracy was showing the board state, right? It got really hard for us to show a 4-person board state in a manner that is easily viewable for you at home. So that would be the hurdle to overcome. Because with Conspiracy, it was important, but I think we got away with it. I think with Commander, you really want to be able to see what's going on. I don't know. That's definitely something that... I mean, streaming more real-life Magic is definitely something that I think we'll be doing. So,
John asks, Wizards has the outside developer cards in M15. Which are your favorites, and what idea would you want on a card if you were asked?
I spent a lot
one?
of time thinking about this.
All right.
When I started seeing everybody else's developer cards, and so I thought, what I want is some sort of like white-black evil cat. So like Cat Wizard or something like that. And if I can remember it, is a 2/2, and when it comes into play. And I don't think I worked out the costing on this, but I think it's got to be something like 4. Or maybe it's 3 and it's a rare or something. It's a 2/2. When it comes into play, target creature gets -2/2. But you can pay to return it to your hand.
Pay what, like mana or life?
Mana.
All right.
So you can recycle that. Like, it's not as easily exploitable, but you could get some sneaky stuff into play. I like the idea of reusing Enter the Battlefield effects.
I think if we, like, as Loading Ready Run were asked... We'd probably have to do something like, I'd like to see some sort of Juggernaut-style artifact creature of, like, the Desert Bus or something, like some sort of horrible Doom engine. Or, they already have a card called Creepy Dolls.
They do, I was just going to say.
That would be difficult. Maybe maybe we'd be able to somehow convert Spot the Dog into like
a dog version of Spot.
It's like an artifact that turns into a creature, but is like hard to see somehow.
It's got like it's unblockable.
Yeah, or something.
It
point
seems
is
like
I'd want
it would
something
be better to
playable.
like bring it back, like almost.
Like I've said before, I said on Twitter, I actually really like how, in response to the first part of this question, I really like how on Mikey's card, the Chasm Skulker, that like while I think it's cute that like Notch's card is Minecraft and the guy who works for Blizzard, it's like a World of Warcraft assassin. I like how Mikey's card is just a cool card. It's not like, oh, that thing from Borderlands.
Yeah, that was something I really appreciated.
That said, I think if Loading Ready Run was asked to do it, it would like have to be some sort of reference.
Yeah. No.
I don't think it'd be like, why did Loading Ready Run design this card? It's just a card.
Just a card, yeah.
Like again, the Penny Arcade one is frankly beautiful. I love the Penny Arcade card. It's the Avarice Amulet.
Oh,
and it's the Pac-Man watch.
Right.
Even in the art, it's the Pac-Man watch.
Right.
Yeah. It's beautiful. But yeah, so I don't know. We'd have to do like some sort of like artifact construct of like the Desert Bus that just never stops driving, or like Spot the Dog or something. Or
It's like Vigilant and it attacks every turn.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like...
Or we finally get to make the moon base land.
Ooh, that could be fun.
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know
sure.
either. All right. What are the gang's favorite pieces of card art? Oh, there's so many.
Anything Jason Chan does is pretty good.
Anything Quentin Hoover.
Anything Raymond Swanland.
Yeah. Is it the F&M promo Despise?
Oh, yeah.
That is my all-time favorite art for a card.
I love that thing.
It looks so freaking good.
The Rebecca Gay Path to Exile is really pretty.
Which one's the...
DES?
I don't know. Paul's looking for the...
Not that one.
The F&M promo Despise.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's
probably one of my favorite pieces of art.
If you're watching the video. Which, by the way, if you are watching the video and would prefer an audio-only feed, because apparently some people are unaware of this, if you go to LoadingReadyRun.com and watch the podcast there's a link for the audio, and you can subscribe on iTunes. I don't know. I actually own the original art for Gold Knight Commander. Not necessarily because I think it's like my favorite card or anything, but Chris Rand was selling the art for it at a GP we were at for frankly a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah,
I mean,
not enough.
Like it wasn't cheap, but like it's an original oil painting, and like it's a cool thing on the card. It looks gorgeous in person. So
Like
that's fun.
Oh yeah, any of the Chris Rand swords, like a
Oh my
like a
God.
Sophie. I've seen
Those
he had
them-
prints of Sophie,
That must have sold for a lot. The original of that.
and it was beautiful.
All right, next.
But like yeah, Quentin Hoover or Rebecca Guay art plocks.
This question from Max: do you find it harder or easier to write for Commodore Hustle compared to your other sketches? I'm going to assume in the context here you mean Friday nights.
It really depends.
Yeah, like sometimes you get a good idea for a sketch, and the sketch, like, I don't want to say it writes itself, but you're just sort of like, you can easily see where the progression needs to go. Whereas for something like Friday Nights, we're like, we definitely need like a concept to go for. I don't know. It's difficult in different ways. I know that's an unsatisfactory answer, but that's the best one we have. Shane says, I only have a group of 4, including me. What's the best way to do limited? What's that draft format called?
Winston?
Is it Winston?
Which one?
Or is it Winchester? Or
Which,
is it
what do you
Manchester?
think? Which one are you thinking of?
Winchester. The one where you draft with 4 people.
Oh, it's a Winston draft.
Westchester Bingham.
Well, there's the two. I can never remember. There's Winston and Winchester. I can never remember which one is which. I think Winchester is the 2-person, where you have I think 6 packs of cards. You open them all up. You shuffle them together, and then you have your big pile, and then you have
the
then
3
you-
smaller
then you have
piles.
3 smaller piles, and then each person takes turns.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Give a Google to Winston and Winchester draft formats, and
I feel like both of those
I'm
are 2-player
confident-
though. I thought both of those were 2-player.
I'm sure there's a one that works for 4 people.
I mean, you can just draft.
You can just draft.
You could just draft with 4 people. Like
It'd be
it's-
weird.
It's a little weird,
It
but
would
it's,
wheel really quickly, but you could do
it's
it.
doable.
We
Yeah.
did that once in a van.
Yeah.
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 They were weird decks.
Or like sealed works.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
true.
mean, sealed is the other
Yeah.
option. So
Squid asks, would you rather have a functional, non-broken reprint of a Mox or a year's supply of booster boxes?
wait, what? Say that again?
Would you rather a functional, non-broken reprint of a Mox or a year's supply of booster boxes?
What does a year's supply of booster boxes mean?
I'll take the booster boxes because a non-broken reprint of a Mox would be lame.
Yeah,
I
but
think like the entire point of a Mox is that it's full busted.
yeah,
Full busted.
I'm going to assume by your supply of booster box he means 1 booster box per day. In which case, yes, I'm going to take the booster box.
Just as fast as you can rip them.
Yeah.
You just get them hot off the press, like you're in what's that donut chain with the Donut Master?
The Donut Master?
It's not Dunkin' Donuts.
Krispy
it's
Kreme?
Krispy Kreme,
Oh.
where they just like you have boxes coming off the
Right.
off the machine. You get them when the shrink wrap is still warm.
Goat Prince asks, how wise would you say trying to collect complete card sets, not foils, for expansions is, recent versus older sets?
How
How wise?
How wise? I mean,
I
if
don't
it's
think you're
something
doing
that-
something like that for wisdom. I think
No,
you're doing
you're
something
doing
like
that
that because you
because
enjoy collecting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that
you
seems
might
fine.
you might be able to then, like turn a profit on it someday. But
Sure. Well, I mean,
Maybe. It depends.
Probably for newer sets, probably not. I mean, so many of these cards are just being printed of the newer sets that chances are you're
newer
not gonna
sets
get-
certainly easier than older sets.
Oh, absolutely. All right. What else we got?
What's the card you'd most like to see reprinted? Cam? Is it Serum Visions?
Well, it was Serum Visions, but I guess it's not coming back. Yeah, Serum Visions would have been really good in Standard. It would have made like the Nivik Cyclops decks really good again. I'd like Telling Time to come back. That card was fun. I think it has a home in Standard.
That was a good card.
Yeah.
Like it's in one of my commander decks. And
It also has sweet art.
yeah, it has good art. It's like powerful, but not like fuck busted,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like we've answered this question before, but Logan asks, what's your favorite piece of flavor text? He
I
says,
definitely think we've answered this question.
he says, mine is the original Goblin Grenade. What is the original Goblin Grenade?
Well, there's like
oh.
4 of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
There was a good one. I in terms of just
It's always Goblin. It's not always Goblin related. There's always some
there's-
very
I-
very good ones.
I really like Lion's Eye Diamond, and I also really like.
Do you remember it offhand?
It was from Tempest Block. It was the final verse from the poem that they were using.
Oh yeah.
And it is called.
What's the Goblin Grenade one? The original one?
It says, according to accepted theory, the grenade held some kind of flammable mixture and was carried to its target by a hapless goblin.
Is it the original? No, that's not the original one.
That's the Fallen Empires.
Fallen Empires.
Oh, is it?
I think that's or how original.
That's not the art I recognize from Fallen Empires. I guess there's multiple.
Yeah.
Wait, let's
there
see
would
other
have been
ones.
4.
Oh, here we go. Yep, this is different art. I don't suppose we could teach them to throw the cursed things.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And
That's the art I recognize.
without their massive numbers, the goblins would never have launched such a successful offensive.
I think my favorite piece of goblin-related flavor text, I'm sure I've said this before, is actually from Light Minefield, which is, if you want to kill a lot of goblins, make your defenses look like fun. Or something similar. I feel like I'm close.
I feel like I've definitely said this before, but my it's like Goblin Balloon Brigade. Just inflate the toad.
Inflate
Yeah,
the
that
toad.
was
That's
good.
so funny.
Also, another really good one was Nemesis of Reason,
Oh, yeah.
which was.
I don't know. Paul, can you look up Nemesis of Reason real quick? Oh, he's just getting inflate the toad up there.
It's the enemy is getting too close. Quick, inflate the toad.
So much said in so few words.
Yeah. There we go. Nemesis of Reason.
Nemesis of Reason. Words describing it fail. Pages relating to it shrivel. Tales recounting it end.
That's good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
There were some really good ones in Theros Block as well. I love flavor text. It's really good.
Yeah, but the poem that I'm thinking of is like the Song of Night and Day, and it was used in Tempest Block. And it's, they wrote the entire thing.
That's really cool. I like what they did with the Theriad as well in Theros Block. I thought that was neat. By the way, the flavor text on Bump of the Night.
Bump of the Night's flavor text is very good.
It's not just the wind.
Yeah.
It's not all in your head. And it's definitely something to worry about.
Yeah, that one's really good. All right. What's next?
All right, moving on. If you could play a commander variant where you could use a planeswalker for your commander,
Garrick.
who would you choose?
New Garrick.
New Garrick. Oh, of course.
God,
New
I
Garrick's
love New Garrick.
just awful in that meta.
Yeah, because it's just like,
Just
I kill your
busted.
commander, I kill your commander.
Yeah, all right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Karn.
Karn would also be very
Just
good.
Because imagine a commander game that you can just reset. It's hateful.
Aw.
Hateful.
Also,
Well,
you could
people
do
can
5
see.
color with Karn too, right?
Well, I mean,
So-
like, if I just wanted to have fun, it would be Venser.
Actually, no, you only do colorless with Karn.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. Yeah.
You
Like-
can't.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Venser
fine.
would be a lot of fun to play with. I think I would just pick Liliana of the Veil, because she's totally sweet.
Yeah, Liliana is very good. All right, let's keep going.
I don't know. Maybe Kiora, just so I could have like access to 2 colors. She's not as powerful.
Well, yeah, Kiora also protects herself from Garrick.
That's true, actually.
Tim asks, how
Does
how much do you actually
Didn't she
enjoy
blink something?
No.
She bubbles them.
She bubbles them.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Prevents all damage dealt to and from.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
but
won't.
that
It wouldn't.
doesn't-
It would
that's
not
not a
protect her from
destroy
Garrick.
effect.
You know it doesn't.
No.
Well, at least it'd give me 2 colors to work with.
Tim asks, how much do you actually enjoy the ridiculous stipulation drafts on MTGO Academy? It seems like you often complain during them. Only if it's going badly.
Yeah.
We enjoy the stipulation drafts. I mean, they're goofy and fun, and we like them when they're going well, and then we build terrible decks when they're
Speaking
not.
of stipulation drafts, at some point during M15, can you guys draft as many Jace's,
Ingenuities.
Jace's? No, the mill like
Mind
Oh,
Sculpts.
Mind Sculpts.
Mind Sculpts.
Mind Sculpts.
Yeah, we
and-
never got that together in M14.
because Grindstone is in M15.
That's true.
So think about that.
Or not Grindstone, the clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grind Clock. That's
Grind
it.
clock. It's as good as it's as good as Grindstone after 2 turns.
Mark is asking the same designer card question, so that's fun. What are you most looking forward to seeing cycle out of Standard?
More of these standard questions. Isn't everybody excited to see?
Cons of Tarkir.
I guess
Yes.
that 4-drop demon that goes.
Oh,
into
Desecration
Monoblack.
Demon?
Actually, no. Forget that. Pack Rat.
Pack Rat.
Pack Rat.
Get out of my
just-
game pack, right?
I follow the standard meta a little bit, and it seems like for the last like almost year, it's been heavily dominated by mono black. And that's one of the reasons why I don't get super involved in Magic, is when I see one archetype really sort of take over. I mean, it's not that bad. Like it's not like it's mono black, but it's a lot.
It's
Like
not
whenever
we're
I
in the
look,
combo winter. Or
no, and
anything.
it's like whenever I look at deck lists from standard competitions, if I see like mono black, I'm like, ugh, okay,
Yeah.
time to get some new stuff going, get rid of some old stuff. So
Like,
I'll be excited to see what happens in the fall.
I'd like to see Supreme Verdict go,
Supreme Verdict,
just because it's uncounterable.
Isn't Sphinx's Revelation still around?
Yep.
Sphinx's Revelation,
I don't know
can
if that's
deal
still
with.
very good. That
Well,
used to
Sphinx's
be-
Revelation makes the blue-white control deck work.
Yeah,
Right.
Supreme Verdict, yeah. So
But
People complain about eggs in Modern. I have never been more bored out of my mind than watching two Sphinx's Revelation decks in a mirror
it's
at
true,
a European GP.
Because because it's like a little bit hard to follow what's going on, but it just takes forever for anything to happen.
There was
Yeah,
like
it's like,
there was a flurry of counter spells on turn 3 with a really interesting stack, and then just
and then nothing for turns and turns and turns.
And it's like, well, so and so has 12 mana, and so has 14 mana, and he passes the turn.
yeah,
And he passes the turn.
Drago.
It was just like, one of you do something.
Honestly, though, that's totally my style of play, though. So
All right.
it's just like at some point somebody's going to try to resolve Aetherling. And
Yeah, exactly.
There's another flurry of counterspells, and this person has won the game.
yeah.
Not necessarily on paper, but they've effectively won the game.
all right.
So I think that's all the questions we're going to be able to get to this week.
But thank you so much for asking the questions.
Yes, we appreciate it.
If you want to find out when we're asking questions again, you can give us a follow at LRRMTG on Twitter.
Yes. If you're going to be at GP Portland, if you're going to be at Grand Prix Portland, James and Jeremy and I will be there as a team. We're going there to play. It's team sealed. It should be fun. And we're actually doing a panel on the Friday. Friday?
I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Friday at 3, I believe is what you
3-ish,
said.
yeah. Because they're opening the event site. Boy, Cascade Games is doing a real number with this GP. It's they're really putting in some serious effort to make this thing awesome. It's actually 4 days.
Wow.
They're starting on the Thursday.
Yep.
And they're doing. They've got our buddy Kenji Numat the Nummy on Twitch. He's going to be down there on the Thursday. He's taking his computer down. He's going to be streaming. He's going to be doing his daily stream live from the event site.
Oh, that's so cool.
On
the
Thursday and Friday, yeah.
And expect to see us harassing him on stream on Friday. We are definitely going to sit in with him.
Because the GP doesn't even start till Saturday.
Exactly.
Correct, yeah.
And then, so they're doing side events and grinders on Thursday and Friday, and they're doing a, some of the guys from Channel Fireball are doing a sealed, like how to build a sealed deck primer on Friday, and we're doing a panel on Friday. And then, of course, there's the actual GP with more side events and vendors and everything on the weekend. So if you're there, come and say hi.
So, but if you're just thinking about going and you're like, I don't really want to do team sealed, I have to say I've been to Magic events before. The side events are super fun.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just if you just want to draft and like hang out and meet nice people, it's a fantastic place to just go do that because there's lots of people.
They're like little mini Magic cons.
Yeah.
And this one more so than others, though.
Yeah.
Like this one is really setting itself up to be like a convention.
Well, because this
Yeah.
is this the week after
It's
the
a week
Pro
after
Tour?
the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot of people will be sticking around for it.
Yeah,
Which is not good for us.
It
but-
does not bode well for anybody who wants to compete because you're going to be, 500 of the world's best Magic players will be in town the weekend before, and if they stick around, then they're going to win.
and who wouldn't want to
be
stick around because
jerks.
Portland is full of delicious food and drink. Portland's
Yes.
known for its restaurants and
Yeah, like
bars and
food
stuff.
trucks. And
I was just talking
yeah.
actually to one of the guys at the coffee shop up the road that we go to, and I asked him what his shirt was, and he was like, "Oh, it's for my favorite restaurant in Portland." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to be there in a couple weeks." And he's like, "Oh, really? How long are you there? Like 4 or 5 days?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Do you have any plans for where to eat?" I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, I have many suggestions. We should talk."
There are a
I
lot
feel like
of
when
awesome
a
places.
chef is offering you suggestions
Yeah.
on where you go in Portland, that you
Yeah.
listen to that man.
I'm going to listen to
Yeah.
him. So,
Liam's a damn good cook.
He is. So I think that's it for
Yep.
this week. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week to talk M15 with y'all.
What?
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.